Hi, my name is Robert. Please read the comments in the About section of this video. It has valuable information and updates. My YouTube channel has a disclaimer video that I encourage you to watch. And please like, share, and subscribe. I hope you found what you're looking for. Thank you very much for watching. Kicking off today at U-Pull, U-Save in Cincinnati. There are some slim pickings for P80 Volvos. Now I'm looking for a red hood for a Volvo S70. I found one, but man, the peeling on that thing looks so bad. I may be better off fixing the dents in the one I have than trying to deal with the paint damage on that one. At any rate, like I said, P80 Volvos are slim picking here. So I'm looking for a few parts. I'm looking for two heads, turbo. Looking for a hood, red, 70 series. Looking for some ignition parts. And I'm looking for some good struts. Newish, high quality type. So let me look around a little bit more. Wow, cloth door inserts on a V70. Actually, this is a S70. Back at Florence, Kentucky, fired up this green-blue T5, and it's making a groaning noise when it's cold, when it first starts up. So we took the serpentine belt loose, fired it back up, still making a groaning noise. And what I think is going on is that the oil thermostat all the way down there is actually making that noise until it opens all the way up. Can't really see down there. Let me see if I can zoom in on it. Past the serpentine belt and all that stuff down there, that chrome stuff where the oil cooler line goes into is the oil thermostat. When the flow's restricted, I've heard that those things groan sometimes. So that's likely what it is. All the timing belt parts are relatively new except for the water pump. So that's probably nothing that matters or anybody can do anything about unless we replace that oil thermostat, which you can no longer get a new one. It'll have to be replaced with a used one. When we're driving around making a hard right turn, we're hearing some noise coming from this back wheel area. So I'm going to get under here and see if something looks loose. The shock mount looks good from the inside of the trunk. So I'm going to look back here and see if I see anything. Oh, the spring doesn't look broke. Doesn't look like nothing's rubbing on the spring down here. Spring still looks seated. My guess is going to be this is probably a bad shock. So let me go on the other side and look at that mount there, see what that looks like on the other side. Well, besides the rear shocks being bad and this exhaust bracket being gone, that thing's totally rusted out and broken. Everything else seems to be okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and move on. Started out the day, tried to make some videos on YouTube. Simply didn't work. My daughter's internet connection is slow at best this morning. So I'm in Louisville, Kentucky right now from Cincinnati, doing some scouting for parts. So I got 3 junkyards ahead here. Hopefully I'll find what I'm looking for. Decided to take a different route on the freeway and ran into a senior that had a flat tire, so I had a chance to help her get her tire replaced. What a blessing for both of us. Okay, we're going to wrap up today taking a look at this 2000 V70R. Been tricked out with a couple of nice features with the headlights and stuff like that, but unfortunately every time he starts the car it's spraying fuel from up under it. So we're going to look into that, see what we got to do to fix it. So it's a pressure fuel leak. Go ahead and start it up, man. Okay, right back here you have a connection to the fuel tank, and right over there you can see the fuel is spraying from the line on top of the tank straight up onto the bottom of the car, and it's running down under the vehicle. So we had a fuel line leak right there. Go ahead and shut it off so they can see it stop. hole in the fuel line or something. See it sizzle down to nothing. Boy, I have been chasing my tail all day. I got a tail light out. The weird thing is, when I turn my lights on, after about 10 miles or 20 minutes of driving, my light out indicator goes out. I didn't know it would do that. That way, I guess if a new bulb blows, it'll alarm for the new bulb. I took Little Red to a Volvo shop today. They scanned the system and found that the seat belt was the problem of the SRS light. I had already replaced that seat belt, so they reset the light and the SRS light is now out. So I'm going to replace the passenger side front fender on Little Red. Not sure if you remember or not, but when the guy did the windshield on this vehicle, he knocked a dent in this fender, and I got a fender from a junkyard, so I'm going to replace that. Then this trim that the window guy put on this window came off, and I forgot that that happened, but this window is leaking. So I'm going to try to put some more sealant up there to stop this window from leaking. And I'm also going to try to find a trim to put in there on this vehicle. Forgot that that trim came off while she was driving down the freeway one day. I have the new fender in place. It's pretty much adjusted right. I'm getting ready to rivet it in place. But I had a problem with the bolt up here. Broke off. I put some liquid wrench on it, tried to turn it on the back side. It broke off on the back side, so that bolt is not in. I might have to get an easy out set and try to drill that out. I got the lower one there, and wherever my finger is, there it is. I got that one in. Now I'm gonna drop the rivets in and be done with this and work on sealing the windshield. Started out today, I let a little oil out of my car. When I changed the oil, I put about a quart too much. So, drained that back out, put a new crush washer on there. Now I'm back in Louisville, Kentucky to pull a head for the donor car. And anything else good I might find. I wasn't up to pulling the head the other day, so I'm gonna get it today. Here's the junkyard, just a little bit south of the Louisville area. No entry fee, pretty decent prices, stuff like that. So I'm gonna go in here and get me a head and maybe a dash for Little Red. I'm going to check the dash here at Pull Apart. The last place I stopped, the heads, one was bad and the other one was covered with so much rat crap I was too afraid to touch it. So see if we can get a dash out of here and head back to the first stop to pull a head. Seems like I got a real tight dash here, so I'm gonna take this and put it in my daughter's car today. I ended yesterday with a 3-hour drive back to Cincinnati from Louisville. Man, the traffic was horrible on that interstate. Couple accidents, some construction. They do a poor job managing that. At any rate, I did get the dash, has no cracks in it, so I'm going to go ahead this morning before church and pull the dash on Little Red and get rid of that noise. Something's going on with this driver's side latch. She locks the door and the button stays up, and the door is actually unlocked, but the alarm is set. So you can open the door and the alarm goes off, but something's going on with the latch. I need to figure that out today as well. Some of you may recall I repaired this dash a couple of years ago. I'm pretty sure it was the first one I actually done, so there's a couple things that I would do different now, and I've done that in a couple videos, but I'll go ahead and show you what I got going on here in this one. I think it's just some cracks behind the dash that are making some noise. It's not real loud, but it does have some crackling as it goes on. It's got these mounts broken here. And while I had the chance, I just figured I'd go ahead and replace it. So the first thing I'm going to do is remove the center console, go under the hood, disconnect the battery so I don't set off no SRS lights, remove the top dash pad, take off the wipers, take the 4 mounts loose, and go from there. I have the 2 bolts out of the windshield wiper assembly. I have access now to the 4 mount bolts through the firewall, and the cabin air filter is getting pretty gross, so I'm going to tell my daughter she needs to order one of those and get that cabin air filter replaced. I don't remember when this one was replaced last, so I'll check the date on the owner's manual notes. Now that I have the battery disconnected, I'm going to go ahead and remove the dash pad and disconnect the cluster. The cluster stores the SRS information, so I'm going to unplug the cluster before I unplug the airbag, and that'll lower the risk of me setting off an SRS light, which I believe is impossible since the battery's disconnected, but that's maybe a good way to do it to help you guys. We're making progress. Now I'm going to unplug the instrument cluster and then work on getting the steering wheel out. Got to use the key, turn the steering wheel, I guess 90 degrees. Take the passenger side bolt loose first, then take the driver's side bolt loose, then straighten the steering wheel back out, put the screw from here up to there. Now it's time to break this 18mm bolt loose and remove the steering wheel. Looks like somebody scrapped some marks on there already. It may have been me in the past. Other than that, this collar is one of the few that's not broken. I always check those at the junkyard usually. And then, man, you can see all the plastic broken in this dash all over the freaking place. But anyway, we're getting that behind us. The nice thing, you don't have to remove the safety knee boosters. They are not attached to the dash. Well, I ran into a snag. My donor dash was a MCC vehicle with the manual climate control, while my daughter's car is a ECC with electronic climate control, which means I have to swap the wire harness from my daughter's dash over to the donor dash. Man, that stinks. Looking at my braces, the one on the passenger side was still holding up. The one on the right center was still holding up some, but the dash was cracking from where I drilled my screw hole. Then the mount broke that I didn't support on the center driver's side, and then the driver's side one was still holding up. So I didn't brace that one mount. It's totally busted out, and now I need to swap this wire harness, which kind of stinks, but I better get moving. Wasting time thinking about it. Alright, this is the view with the dash out. I gotta make sure I get this broken mount piece out of there. That should be ready to go back in. Now we'll take a look at the replacement dash so you can see it has no cracks around none of the mounts. And it should be ready to go back in. I got the harness swapped over. It's got a couple of sensors for the ECC system, climate control, which the manual control harness didn't have. So it's swapped over. I'm ready to drop it in, and I got to take a break, go to church. I'm back at it, and I almost made a mistake that I made last time. I need to swap the VIN plate over from the old busted up dash to the replacement dash. So I got to figure out how these rivets come out and swap this over. It appears that they have push pin rivets. You push the center out, and then you get something under there and pull them out, and then you swap that plate over. So Let me find something to pull this out now that I got those pins pushed out of the center of them. Now that I got the centers pushed in, I could see the pins on the bottom of it here. So I pull those pins out on both sides. Now I could push those up from the back side and remove the VIN. Just like so. Put that over on the proper replacement dash. Well, I got the dash all put in little red. I didn't set off an SRS light. Creaked for a second. I don't know why. Maybe because it's settling in. I got the switches hanging out because I got to check the bulbs in them. I changed the oil and I went to change the timing belt cover. And when I pulled the cover off, I noticed that the water pump's leaking. So when I did the timing belt last on this vehicle, I did not do the water pump. So I get the pleasure of doing that tonight because I got to go in the morning. So let me take a break, go inside, take care of something, and then get on this timing belt situation. Okay, I'm on my way up to the V70R to see about cutting a hole in the floor so when he gets his fuel pump assembly, he can replace his fuel pump assembly and stop his fuel leak. Now I'm going to look through the service records that I have for my daughter's S70 GLT to see how many miles is on that timing belt replacement. If there's more than 50,000 miles on it, I'm going to go ahead and replace everything. If there's less than 50,000 miles on it, I'm just going to sneak that water pump out and only replace the water pump. The problem is I've replaced the instrument cluster twice. So that confuses the whole situation on how long ago I did the water I did the timing belt. Now on that car when I did the timing belt, I stripped the tensioner bracket. So I could not get that tensioner off. So I only replaced that roller, which should still be good. So I'm not really concerned about that. But with the water pump leaking in the summertime, that's a no-no. So I do need to replace that water pump and go from there. At least that, if it's more than 50,000 miles on it, I'm going to replace everything. Probably except for that tensioner roller, because those tensioner rollers can normally go 150, 200,000 miles. So we'll see what happens when I look through the records that I have. Back at this V70R today, we're going to drop the, actually we're not going to drop the fuel tank. We're going to cut an access hole to get to the fuel line on top of this fuel pump assembly to see where it's leaking and possibly repair the fuel line or replace it without dropping the tank or just a portion of it. So we're going to cut a hole in the floor. When you come inside the door and you remove the seat on the wagon, I believe that this fuel pump cap is right here at this hinge or this bracket that holds the seat. So we're going to cut across this seam down here, back across that way, and try to fold that in so he can access that top of that fuel pump assembly to see if he can repair that line. So I have my little Dremel tool. He's going to go get some power extension cord and we're going to get to cutting. Cutting this with these little discs here with my cheap little roto tool I got from Harbor Freight, and I'm getting about 1.5 inches, 2 inches per disc if I take my time and don't rush it. So as you can see, I cut from over that side up across the top of this lip from under the seat. I've really got this one hooked out, and when you pry this open, you can see the fuel pump cap assembly And the problem is this fuel line is leaking. It's squirting fuel up out of it. He could go in there and bump the starter and let that spray all over the interior of his car and smell it for a couple of months, but I don't think he'll do that. So anyway, that's one way to cut an access panel to change your fuel pump on your all-wheel drive vehicle if you want to. And when you go to close this up, my recommendations is for you to get this mated as close as possible. Put some kind of epoxy or some kind of fuel tank sealer or something on there to close that up real good, and then tape over it with some aluminum tape or something. And since this supports your seat and you haven't cut it totally out, it should still support your seat, but let it sit up and cure for a day or two before you put your seat back in. If you feel that this information was useful, please like it and share it with your social media friends. You can subscribe to my channel so that you will get notifications of future videos that I post. You can follow me on Twitter, and if you need to contact me directly, please visit my website. And if you have any questions, leave them below, and someone or myself will reply to them. Again, thank you very much for watching.